Security and privacy concerns in self-driving cars. Security and privacy concerns in self-driving cars. Self-driving cars have been garnering a lot of attention in recent years. These vehicles are equipped with advanced technology, including sensors and artificial intelligence systems that allow them to navigate roads and avoid obstacles on their own. While the promise of self-driving cars is that they will make our roads safer and more efficient, there are significant security and privacy concerns that need to be addressed. One of the biggest security concerns with self-driving cars is the risk of hacking. With so many sensors and computer systems involved in operating a self-driving car, there are many points of entry for hackers to exploit. Hackers could potentially take control of a self-driving car, cause it to crash, or even use it as a weapon. To prevent hacking, self-driving car manufacturers must take a proactive approach to security. They should employ measures such as encryption and multi-factor authentication to protect the systems control the car. Additionally, car manufacturers must keep pace with new security threats and update their software regularly to address vulnerabilities as they arise. Another security challenge for self-driving cars is the risk of physical attacks. Because self-driving cars rely on sensors to navigate the world, attackers could interfere with these sensors by blocking them or shining lasers at them. This interference could cause the car to malfunction and lead to a crash. To mitigate this risk, self-driving cars must be equipped with redundant systems that can take over if one system fails. For example, a self-driving car could have multiple cameras and sensors placed in different locations on the car to provide redundant information to the vehicle's control systems. Additionally, manufacturers could deploy threat detection systems that can alert drivers and/or authorities if someone is attempting to interfere with the car's sensors. Privacy is another major concern with self-driving cars. These vehicles can collect vast amounts of data about their passengers, including their location, driving habits, and even biometric data such as facial recognition. This data could be used for a variety of purposes, including advertising, targeted marketing, and even law enforcement. To protect user privacy, self-driving car manufacturers must be transparent about the data they collect and how it is used. They should also implement robust data security measures, such as data encryption and anonymization. Additionally, users should have control over their data, including the ability to delete it if they wish. One potential solution to the privacy concerns associated with self-driving cars is to use decentralized systems that do not rely on a single entity to control the data. Blockchain technology, for example, could be used to create a decentralized network of self-driving cars that can securely share data without compromising individual privacy. In addition to security and privacy concerns, there are also ethical considerations to be addressed with self-driving cars. For example, in the event of an accident, the car may have to make a decision that involves weighing the safety of its passengers against the safety of other drivers, pedestrians, or cyclists. To address these ethical concerns, manufacturers must establish clear guidelines for the behavior of self-driving cars in different scenarios. These guidelines should be transparent and publicly labeled, and should take into account a wide range of ethical considerations. Another ethical consideration that arises with self-driving cars is the potential impact on employment. Self-driving cars have the potential to replace human drivers, which could lead to significant job losses in the transportation industry. Moreover, self-driving cars could have a significant impact on urban planning and infrastructure. With the increased efficiency of self-driving cars, fewer parking spots may be needed, leading to less need for large parking garages and lots. Additionally, with fewer cars on the road, there may be a reduced need for wide roads and highways, allowing cities and municipalities to rethink their transportation infrastructure. However, these changes may also have unintended consequences, such as an increase in urban sprawl as people are able to live further away from city centers and still have access to transportation. Furthermore, the infrastructure changes necessary to accommodate self-driving cars may require significant investment and planning. Another potential impact of self-driving cars is on the environment. This could lead to increased congestion and emissions. To mitigate this impact, manufacturers and policymakers must work together to encourage the use of shared self-driving cars, as well as incentivize the use of electric and low-emission vehicles. Additionally, manufacturers could incorporate features such as regenerative braking and energy-efficient systems to reduce the environmental impact of self-driving cars. Moreover, self-driving cars could also impact the insurance industry. As the technology improves, the number of accidents caused by human error is likely to decrease, which could lead to a reduced demand for auto insurance. However, as the technology is still relatively new and there are potential security risks, insurers may need to adapt their policies and premiums accordingly. Self-driving cars could also have an impact on the way we think about car ownership. With the rise of shared mobility services such as ride-hailing and car sharing, some experts predict that self-driving cars could eventually lead to a decline in car ownership. Instead of owning their own cars, people may opt to use self-driving cars as a service, just as they currently use ride-hailing services like Uber and Lyft. This shift could have significant implications for the automotive industry, which may need to adapt to the changing demands of consumers. It could also lead to changes in the way we plan and design our cities, as there may be less need for parking spaces and traditional car-oriented infrastructure. Despite the potential benefits of self-driving cars, there are still significant challenges that need to be addressed before they become a widespread reality. In addition to the security, privacy, ethical, environmental, and social concerns discussed above, there are also technical challenges that must be overcome. For example, self-driving cars must be able to handle a wide range of weather conditions, road conditions, and traffic situations. This will require continued advancements in artificial intelligence and machine learning. In addition to the technical challenges associated with self-driving cars, there are also social challenges that must be addressed. For example, some experts predict that self-driving cars could lead to increased isolation and loneliness, as people spend more time commuting alone in their vehicles. To address this challenge, manufacturers and policymakers must work together to design self-driving cars that prioritize human interaction and social connectivity. Another social challenge associated with self-driving cars is the potential for exacerbating existing inequalities. For example, self-driving cars may be more expensive than traditional cars, which lead to a widening gap between those who can afford them and those who cannot. Additionally, self-driving cars may not be accessible to people with disabilities or other mobility issues, further exacerbating existing inequalities. To address these concerns, manufacturers and policymakers must prioritize accessibility and affordability when designing and deploying self-driving cars. This could include the development of low-cost, accessible self-driving car options, as well as programs that provide financial support for those who may not be able to afford them. Furthermore, manufacturers and policymakers must ensure that self-driving cars do not perpetuate existing inequalities in terms of access to transportation. In addition to the social challenges, self-driving cars could also impact the tourism industry. With the ability to drive themselves, self-driving cars could open up new areas for travel and explore it. Ion that were previously inaccessible or difficult to reach. This could lead to a boom in the tourism industry, as people are able to travel further and experience more. However, this also raises concerns about the impact of increased tourism on local ecosystems and communities. To mitigate this impact, policymakers and tourism officials must work together to ensure that tourism growth is sustainable and responsible. Moreover, self-driving cars could also impact the trucking industry. With the ability to operate around the clock, self-driving trucks could potentially provide a more efficient and cost-effective means of transportation for goods and products. However, this could also lead to significant job losses in the trucking industry.